Hey guys, Liam Ottley here, and in this video I'll be breaking down the simple change that I made in my agency to allow us to scale past 10K per month and how you can do the exact same in yours. It's relatively easy. It's just a simple tweak within the sales process, but it made a world of difference for us in terms of our closing rates and the amount of effort and time we're putting into dealing with people who are never going to pay us any money anyway. So this is something that I talk a lot about in my accelerator, but I thought I'd bring it out here and do sort of a whiteboardy session on YouTube so that you guys can get some of the source as well, because it's so important and made such a massive difference for us. So this is a graph here showing that you keep getting stuck at the 10K per month mark. A bunch of reasons why this can happen, but I want to break things down a little bit more granularly first. So first thing first, let me illustrate this and how I came across it and how we made this discovery at my agency with a bit of a story. So back in middle of 2023, middle of last year, when the AI automation agency boom was going crazy, I just started talking about it a few months earlier, and suddenly everyone was talking about it, and it was the hottest thing in online business at the time. And there's so much attention. I can probably draw the graph from the last video if you guys remember that. But the Google Trends for AI automation agency had this massive spike, and then it sort of flattened out to where we kind of are now. But at this point, Morningside and my agency, we were getting about 20 leads per day, inbound leads per day via our contact form on our website. So we had so much attention and so many people who wanted to work with us that our sales process and our sales pipeline really started to get choked up, and it really pointed out the main issue that we were facing, which is a low close rate despite all of that attention, right? So we were getting these 20 leads per day, LPD. But when you looked at our actual close rate and the amount of people and businesses we were converting into paying clients, like 20 per day, that might result in like one client. And now that's a shocking close rate. And we realized that pretty quickly. We said, well, this is a really terrible conversion rate for the amount of attention we're getting. But we realized that we were doing a few things wrong in our sales process. And there was a few things that we tested and played around with to try to fix that. And what I'm about to break down is the one that we settled on. So the sales process that we had at the time was an email would come in from our contact form submission. So the email would come in, it would have information like name, budget, description of the project. And then on that alone, my business partner, Josh, would go in and just evaluate some of those emails and go, yes, no, delete them if they're not interesting for us. But then if they were kind of a good prospect, a good lead, we would then send them a discovery call link. So then they'd book can I do it? And they'd book in a discovery call with us, and then we'd have a 30-minute discovery call with them, 30 minutes. And then from there, you realize how complex this thing was at the time. And from there, then we'd need to go to my CTO Spencer. He would have been on most of those discovery calls, and then he would need to analyze how we can build that project, right? So he needs to go and do a full analysis of, okay, this is what the lead wants. This is how we're going to approach it. This is the opening stage of the project. This is the middle. This is the end. This is the amount of hours that are going to be for each of them, and then we could go back to them. We can do sort of a calculator here. Let's do a bit of a calculator. We needed to calculate how many hours it was going to take to do that. And then we'd create a full proposal. I'm changing colors here. Then we need to do a full proposal with like all of the jazz on it, which is, okay, this is how much this stage of the project is going to cost. This is the final scope. This is the cost, etc. This would take, I don't know, like three plus hours. I'm running out of pen here. But this whole process here of getting on discovery call, 30 minutes, taking that, going to Spencer and say, hey Spencer, can you figure out how we'd approach this build and determine if how many hours it's going to take. Then that information would need to go to my business partner Josh, and he'd create this from a template, albeit, but then he'd have to create a proposal saying this is how we're going to do it, this is how much it costs, and then we need to book in another call. I'm getting pretty good at drawing these phones now. Need to book in another call, and that's going to be a proposal call where it might be 30 min to 1 hour. And now look at all this time we're taking just to get to the point of proposal. Then on that call, they'll either say sort of yes or no, or make a verbal agreement. And if at the end of the call they say, yeah, sure, sounds good, we found that there was a massive drop-off between the people who we actually presented proposals to and the number of people who actually ended up signing and paying us an invoice, right? So this drop-off between proposal and actually, how can I draw this? Make this we skip a couple steps in here, like sending the contract, going back and forth on the contract. You would go back and forth, flopping around. And then by the time you've gone back and forth with the contract 3 or 4 times, then they're like suddenly not as interested in the project anymore. They've lost the buzz. You really need to get as quickly from this point of saying, hey, I'm interested, I want to work with you, and getting them signed as fast as possible. Because in here, anything could happen. Something in their business could blow up. Suddenly they're not interested in AI anymore. They read an article and they're scared of it. All sorts of crap. So the longer this was, the higher the drop-off we saw here. But really the key drop-off point was this proposal here, because they go from someone who's filled out a form, don't have really any idea how much this is going to cost them. We go through all this time and we invest all this time here in calculating, calling, writing the proposal, then we get on the call and present it. And a lot of the times, like this stuff isn't cheap. If you have a development team like me, and our developers cost quite a lot of money per hour, we have to mark our services up significantly. It's like very expensive projects a lot of the time. And when you then present that to them, they are nowhere near ready for that kind of price point. Well, in most cases. So it's really an issue of lead quality. And we weren't checking or sort of price testing them beforehand. And we're wasting all this time and getting to this point at the end where we've pitched them. And then they look at it and they go, oh, whoa, like, no chance I'm paying that. And they go, that's way too expensive for what I'm looking for. Thank you, have a nice day. And so we got this big drop off where you might get, I don't know, you make 6 proposals and get like one of these guys coming out the other end, and they're actually interested in signing for the project. So looking at this, we realized we are spending so much time on this step here of hopping on calls with basically everyone, and then allowing these tire kickers, let me draw a tire. Tire kickers are all over the AI space. They're business owners who are interested, these early adopters. If you remember the tech adoption curve, we're in this early adopter phase. Watch that video, which I'll put up here if you haven't already. This is a very important concept to understand. We are getting a lot of early adopters, especially earlier on in my journey. Last year, in the first sort of 6 months of starting my agency, we were getting a lot of these early adopters who didn't really care much about the functionality of it. They just wanted to feel like they're building something cool and being on the front foot with their business. So these guys do tend to be tire kickers. Because they aren't seeking some really, really business-changing implementation, the rate of them being tire kickers and just kind of wanting to hop on calls and learn more and feel like they're in the space is much higher. So tire kickers, they're just coming in, and we're spending all of this time, 30 minutes, and then Spencer's having to do, I don't know, maybe like 1 to 2 hours here, and then Josh has to put 3 hours in here, and then we have to put Spencer and Josh on this call for a 30-minute to an hour call. So much time just to find out, are they or are they not a tire kicker? And so what we did to change this is, I mean, it was kind of like a Hail Mary. We were just saying, look, these close rates are so awful. Something has to change. So let's just like, fuck it. Let's just throw a low ticket offer at them to get them started and see who gets through. So what we did is implemented what we now call an exploration milestone. And this may be standard for development companies all over the show, but until about a year ago, I wasn't some development company CEO, as many of you guys won't be. So we were definitely learning this as people who've just been online business entrepreneurs and having to pick up how to run these development companies. There's nuance to the sales process, as you can imagine. So we tried this thing. We'll call it an exploration milestone. And if I rewrite this flow, the email still came in. We still approved or disproved it, and then declined. And if it was good, we probably have a thing here where it's like, we don't want to work with them. We book in the discovery call, and that's going to still be 30 mins. But then at the end of the discovery call, if we've qualified them and vetted them out properly and they seem like a good client, like when we get so many leads coming to us that we can be quite picky about who we work with, because there's nothing worse than, I mean, I built my business to have an income stream, but also to enjoy what I do. And if I'm dealing with clients who are an absolute pain in the ass, that is working against what my goal was with my business, right? I don't want this to feel like a trap, and my business partner and the whole team don't want to work with awful people. It's so bad. It's like multiple levels of badness. There's multiple levels of destruction and damage within the business, because not only you are dealing with this bad client, but everyone in the team is. It's like an anchor that brings down the whole team. So we get very picky here, and at the end of the discovery call, if they have a clear solution that we can solve, if they are someone who we want to work with, and overall seems like a good potential client for us, then we will, at the end of the call, we will transition it, that's a transition, to, at the end of the call, I'll go to my business partner, Josh. So, hey, Josh, yeah, everything checks out for me here. I think it's good for us to just jump straight into an exploration milestone and kick things off next week. Boom. Now we've gone from just talking about, hey, AI stuff is cool, yeah, tire kick at this, tire kick at that. We're starting to put the heat on them and say, hey, look, we need some money. Like, you've got your free discovery call, we've had a chat with you, and now you got to cough up to keep working with us. Now this does come down to some degree to the brand that you've built. For me in Morningside, we have a considerable brand position as a AI solutions company because of the stuff that I do here, waving my hands around on the camera, because it shows that I know what I'm talking about, right? And you want to work with people who know what they're talking about, which is why you should consider making content, either YouTube, LinkedIn, whatever it is. I can't even explain. I mean, we're getting 20 of these a day. We still get quite a lot of them. And I don't even post nearly as much as I did back in the day. So getting a little bit off track. But then we say exploration milestone. That's what we're looking to do. We end the call, and straight after the call, well, we get them to agree to it, and we say, yeah, well, if you're happy, we can start what we call an exploration milestone. They might ask some questions. Say, well, that's when we just go in and we do a very quick sort of prototyping, scoping, speccing, determining how much this is going to cost for you. We can't give you an accurate quote on the whole project until we've gone in and done some exploration and done some tests, because we need to actually, because the clients will want certain kinds of outputs from the system, and because we're going to get into this in a second, which is a really cool part of this video, so stick around. But clients want specific outputs from their systems, as anyone would. And if we aren't able to get those kind of outputs, then we shouldn't take on the project, right? So exploration is kind of saving your ass and also making sure the client and expectations are managed correctly, because you get a chance to go, okay, let's very quickly spin up a prototype for, okay, pass me your data, Mr. Client, and give me some examples of input and output pairs and responses that you want from it. Okay, I'm going to take those in, give to my dev team, and they can whip it up quickly, sort of determine if we can get kind of close to the outputs they're looking for. If we can, great. Yep, that system works to some degree. Now we're good to take on the full project, and we can be confident that we can charge you X amount of dollars, and it's going to come within this time frame. So it's really such a key thing and like an absolute game changer for our business. So how do we go from here? Exploration milestone, we send that via email. So we'll send a templated contract. We'll send an email just saying, hey, just following up on the call that we just had. The exploration milestone is going to cost X amount, and we started off with ours at $800, and that would be sort of a 3 to 5 day exploration. And usually more, it usually ended up sort of closer to 5 than 3. But the $800 exploration was a good price point that we found people would be interested in, and they took the bait, they took the offer pretty often. So right here, you're asking them to cough up, and you're saying, sorry buddy, no more tire kickers beyond here. You are not going to get a single second more of my time until you've given me money to compensate me and my team, which allowed us to then only make presentations to clients who are actually qualified to some degree, financially qualified. So by bringing the price, the time that they had to cough up some money from way down here to up here, we had just saved ourselves all this time. And that was a absolute game changer for us. My business partner Josh, instead of being on the sales call, hamster wheel and proposals, we'd go through these cycles of, oh yeah, cool, this is a big client in the pipeline, whoa, whoa, whoa. And then next week, yeah, they didn't reply to the proposal. So it happens to me, it'll happen to you, but you can do things with your sales process to try to split the wheat from the chaff a little bit sooner. So you want the good guys to make it past here. You want to give them a chance to show that they're serious. And this amount is a good way of doing it. Now, for full transparency, we now charge, most recent one we did was $2,000. We've actually charged right up to $5,000. Now that may sound ludicrous, but when we do $100,000 deals, $5,000 exploration in order to scope it all out, there's a lot of work involved for us, but the client would rather pay $5,000 up front and determine, hey, is this feasible? What's the actual budget going to be at the end of the day? And are these kind of systems actually something that are a good match for my use case? So you can charge up to $2,000, $5,000 for these explorations. These do take sort of 2 to 3 weeks though. Just being fully transparent. So it's not like it was a 3-day and 3-day. These are definitely big boys for bigger projects. And then exploration milestone, you send that off via email, say, hey, look, it's going to cost $2,000, or in your case, might be $800 to start. It's going to cost $800. Let me know if that's all good, and I can send over we can send over a templated contract. You just change a couple little things. And once I've signed that, you send the invoice with the contract as well. Once it's all paid, then you go, sweet, straight into Slack. And then you go, hey, send requirements. And that's when you ask them, okay, in order to do our exploration milestone, actually, I missed the best part of this whole thing. Let me go back a step. This is when it gets real saucy. So, not only does this exploration give us a chance to weed out the guys from, split the wheat from the chaff, we also get an opportunity to set expectations with our clients. And AI systems are inherently random and hard to predict. They are non-deterministic by nature, which means that the same input can create different outputs. And this is due to the sort of randomization of the next token generation. We are trying to give, in many cases, reliable and predictable outcomes with technology that on the most fundamental, like foundational level is random and tries to be random. So in order to get client satisfaction and set expectations right, we have also had to deal with, let me give you an example. Actually, this is a better way to do it. This may sound familiar. So say you're building some kind of chat-based system for them. Client doesn't like output. Say that you're building a system, a chatbot for them, and they say, oh, I didn't like the way that it says that. And you say, okay, well, they provide ideal output. And you go, okay, well, I'll tune the system to try to get it to output that kind of output. And then it outputs the correct one maybe 4 out of 5 times. Client gets mad. Because it's not always consistent. Now this 4 out of 5 times, the other time, the 1 out of 5 times that it doesn't say it, it might just slightly reword it. But this client is looking for exact outputs. And he wants exact outputs. For you to get the money from them and finish the contract, you need to give them this 5 out of 5 perfect, exact same outputs every time. When in reality, the system is putting out 1 in 5 times, something that is a slight modification of, it's still saying the same thing. It still means the same, but it's a slightly different wording. And this client goes, Client gets mad because it's not consistent, demands a refund because I don't like the way it talks. So here you have a feeling. I don't like. The way that the client feels about the outputs is now determining whether or not you get your money, which is a bad place to be. So we have tried to solve this problem in a number of ways, and eventually, in combination with the exploration milestone, we came up with a method that solves all of this while also allowing us to do the exploration and solving downstream issues with client satisfaction as well. So I'll now get into that, because I know you came for the sauce, but I'll give you a double serving, because that's how we work on this channel. So the issue here is, as I just pointed out, LLMs are, you're dealing with two problems. One, LLM non-deterministic. They are by nature random, and they spit out different outputs from the same inputs. And then two, you're also fighting against client feelings and subjective opinions. Now these two, when you're trying to build a business selling AI solutions, these two go together like Mentos and Coca-Cola. They don't get along. And this is an awful mixture of things to build a business on. And we at Morningside realized this pretty quick that, okay, well, clients are going to have feelings towards, if we're building any kind of chat-based or even just it's a content generator, how they feel about it, like, it's not really what I like, there's something about this. And sometimes we get to a point where a client is, yeah, this system's cool, yeah, it's good. And then the next week they'll say, oh no, we need a big change, I just suddenly don't like this anymore. And you're dealing with emotions and opinions. And you're trying to make money and have some kind of consistent and predictable business. But you're also now at the whim of these client emotions and also these inherently random systems. So these two problems, we realized pretty quick that if we don't solve these at Morningside, we're gonna be in the shitter and we're not gonna have much of a business. So how do we solve this? Well, my absolute whiz and genius of a CTO, we sort of tasked them with this and said, hey, we need a solution to this. And he came up with a now widely used system. Can I rub this off? No, I still have a bit more to go. That we call, it's been a thing, but the way that we apply it, I believe, is sort of a industry first. It's called cosine similarity. So what cosine similarity does is it's a test that we can run that allows us to determine the similarity, the semantic similarity of two sets or any number of set of actually I believe it is just for two. The similarity of two pieces of text. So whether that's a word, just apples and oranges, whether that's phrases, whether that's whole bodies of paragraphs, whether it's a whole book, you can use cosine similarity to get a tangible metric is really the key thing here, a tangible metric that you can point to and say, yes, these two things are similar. And for us, with these exploration milestones, we started integrating cosine similarity testing as part of the exploration milestone, determine if we can get the right mathematically most similar types of answers that are going to be satisfactory to the client. So we can kind of make sure that we know what we're doing ahead of time and be like, yep, we can get pretty close to this. But more importantly, it gives us a metric that we can use in our contracts to stop that subjectivity and, I like it, but like it could say this and this, or hey, it's giving the same answer 4 times, but there's one that's different. It's like, well, mate, at the end of the day, our contract says it's the semantic meaning of it and the similarity of the text. If it's one word changed, this thing protects us. So let me break down how this works. So cosine similarity. This is going to get a little bit technical, but I do quite like getting in this, and it's important for you guys to know this to some degree. So cosine similarity, this is going to really challenge my my art skills. Or down. Okay, so that's a 3-dimensional space, and we're going to have, so it's kind of going backwards, by the way, it's not facing us. So we have one point over here, we have another point over here, and we have another point up over here. And so what these are is coordinates in a multi-dimensional space. In this case, we'll just do 3 dimensions so that it's easy to understand. But in reality, this is happening in I think 8,000, or was it 8,000 dimensions? It's impossible for the human brain to comprehend, but this will this will suffice. So we have this 3D space. We have point 1, point 2, point 3, and what cosine similarity allows us to do is determine the similarity of these 3 points. So this might be a word of beans. This might be peas, and this might be car. And so what the cosine similarity test does is that if we go to our client in this exploration phase or in the actual contract, we will ask them for, hey, can you give me 5 to 10 examples of inputs and outputs that you would like out of the system? And when they give us the inputs and outputs, we then have something to grade our AI outputs of the system against. So say they have a chatbot and it needs to be outputting a certain type of answer, we can run their 11 inputs against our system. So we have our system here. We take the 10 inputs, we run them each through our system, and it outputs 1, 2, 3, etc. And then we have their original 10 inputs, and this is the system that they used to create, which is their own brain of, okay, what should this thing be answering? So this is a human, this is an AI, and then it's going to output well, it's not really outputting, the brain is outputting it, but we have 10 and 10, and the 10 that we create from our system, we can then use cosine similarity to get the average, or we can compare the similarity of this one to this one and determine if, yes, our AI system is creating outputs that are similar enough to this, and we average them all, and then we can get an overall similarity score. So coming back to the graph here, so we have this one here, which is one input. It might be, how do I change my password? And then this one will be the AI output one, and this one will be the human one. They might say, in order to change your password, you need to go to XYZ website. And then based off the AI system that we built, it might say, in order to change your password, please navigate to this. So they are fairly similar. And then when we run them through the cosine similarity test, it's converting these words, and it runs it through an embedding model, and the words get converted to a set of coordinates. That might be like 0.1, 0.5, 0.9, and it goes on and on and on and on and on. But in this case, we've just got 3 coordinates because we've got a 3-dimensional graph. So what the cosine system does is it converts words into their numerical equivalents within a vector space, and by having these coordinates, it can plot them in the vector space by their similarity. So in this case, you see beans and peas are close. That's because the embedding model that we use and run the beans through, it's going to give out a coordinate, and then we run peas through it. It's going to go, okay, that fits there, and they end up being close to each other within the vector space. And so what does cosine similarity actually mean? Well, it's the measurement of the angle between these two bad boys here. So the smaller the angle, the more similar they are. The larger the angle, see if we go from peas to car or from beans to car, the angle here is much larger. Oh, I'm getting back into my what was that, calculus and trigonometry and whatnot. But yeah, beans to car is a much larger angle, therefore the cosine similarity is going to be lower than bees to peas. That makes sense? So this is taking the subjective opinions and emotions of people who go, oh, but I like the outputs, I don't really like the outputs. I don't care. You have told us these in the exploration milestone. We won't necessarily hold them to that in the contract of the exploration milestone. It would just be, hey, look, give us some outputs, and we'll compare them to it. And internally, we can check and use that in the end of the report. So at the end of the exploration milestone, you'll give them a report and a proposal, which we'll go into in a second. But the numbers that we get back from our testing, if we say, okay, look, by the way, cosine similarity goes from 0 to 1. So a good range we go for in our explorations. We might be looking for 0.85 or higher. But for our final builds, we'll be going for anywhere from sort of 0.9 to 0.95 in most cases. So that means it's highly similar. And when we do our exploration milestone, we'll be looking to see if we can get this sort of number and say, okay, give me those 10 outputs and 10 inputs. We're going to run it through the system, see what we get. Okay, yep, we're around 0.85 or higher. We're confident that we can build the system for you. So it's as much of client satisfaction as it is for our sanity. We don't want to be taken on trying to take down a mammoth with a slingshot, like we need to be taking on clients that we know that we can deliver for, because I tell you what, these guys, these early adopters have huge expectations. It's more the people who are the sort of early majority who have the bigger expectations, because they are like, oh, well, I've heard all this stuff about AI, let me give it a try, and they expect that to just completely change your business. So you need to make sure that they're not expecting too much, and given the data and the kind of inputs and outputs they've provided, we are able to get close enough to it that we can feel confident in going for a complete contract, a full contract on it. So that's cosine similarity. You can convert the 10 inputs or 5 to 10 inputs that the client gives you into, or the outputs, sorry, into a set of coordinates or numbers that a computer can understand. And when we convert these over, we can plot them automatically. We have a tool for this that we give to our accelerator members so that they can do this testing for their clients. We have an internal one as well that we use at Morningside. And you just run these outputs through the cosine similarity system. It's going to determine the similarity of them, and then we'll average it out and say, okay, what was the average number? So that's cosine similarity. Might sound a bit complex, but we are dealing with complex issues and complex technology. So, and complex emotions of clients too. And so how does this tie back into the exploration system and how it changed our sales process and sort of revolutionized our business? And how can you use it too, really? So now they've paid us, we've done the exploration milestone, and we then need to present the findings to them. So once you've done all this work and you've created your, you've given this to your devs, they've gone and that's a coding symbol. They've gone and done the work, they've done the exploration, we've got the cosine similarity scores out, we're pretty confident. We've done enough of the exploration that we can get to a point where we're confident in pitching for the full project. Now, this comes out and we now have a proposal that we put together, which has, let's just go half and half here. The first half is going to be the findings of the exploration, which is, hey, look, we did these tests and these are the kind of outputs. We're really happy with this. We're kind of concerned about this. So this first half is the findings. And then in the second half, you're then going to be pitching your proposal. And in this proposal, we need to have, that's when you get your developer, either you do it yourself or the lead developer on your team. Then you need to get them to create that proposal, which is what Spencer was doing earlier in the older system, which is, okay, what are the sections? How many hours, 3, 4, etc. How many hours is each of these things going to take? And that's going to determine how we can price it within this proposal. So we typically just mark up, we get our estimates from our CTO Spencer, and then we just mark up based off our kind of inflating markup rate that we apply to our services. So whether that's a few $100s an hour, whether that's you get into thousands of dollars, you can just kind of mark that up and apply that overall. And in that proposal, you will also include, gosh, makes me realize how much shit there is to cover in this stuff. I thought this was going to be a quick video. But inside the proposal, then you have the cosine similarity score that you agree on. So this will become part of the contract, and that is what's going to save you from the subjective opinions of clients who are unhappy with, I don't really like how it sounds, that kind of rubbish. First half, the findings of the discovery, and here as we get to, there's so much for me to talk about on this, I probably can't squeeze all into this video, but there's a number of different factors as to why this works and why it's so important. One of them is that you get a chance to build trust. You get to show them how you operate. And this right here is the most important part, because they've just paid you $800. It's basically like they're just sort of having a dig and saying, look, these guys seem professional. Let's see if they really know their stuff. And they've given you a small amount of money, and you've gone away that should pay your developers and hopefully give you a bit of extra. So you're getting cash flow here, which is great. Even if you don't end up taking the project on, you can just get paid to do explorations for these people, which cash flow early on in your agency, that kept us alive. I shit you not. But then you come down here and you get a chance to show them who you are, show them how you operate, show them your level of professionalism, and the findings and the way that you do this presentation is going to be key. So this is actually done on a call. Oh, let me see if I can get this again. This is done on what we call our proposal call. So we'll get them on a call, 30 minutes to half an hour. We'll go through the findings of it, very professional. Hey, this is what we did. We're concerned about this. This is the kind of outcomes we got. This is the cosine similarity scores. And you can kind of introduce this as a concept on these calls. We can say, hey, look, given the inputs and outputs that you gave us, we were able to get to a 0.85 similarity, which means that it's very good. And with a bit more funding and a bit more effort, we can get this to a point where it's far more similar. It's up sort of the 0.9, 0.95 range. So you get to give them the findings, and then you give them the proposal based off the estimations that your lead developer or yourself have come up with, and that goes in the second half, which is a proposal breaking down each of the parts of the full build and how much that's going to cost them. On the call, you need to have the contract ready, and in the contract, If they're all good to go and there's no complaints, then you send them over the contract, get it signed on the call if possible, because as soon as that call ends, your chance of closing them just goes through the floor. Try to get them to sign that contract on the call, because as soon as they've signed it, doesn't matter about the invoice really. If they've signed that, they've made a commitment to paying that invoice as well. So as long as you can get it signed, walk them through the contract, handle objections, whatever you need to do, point out that the cosine similarity metric is in there and say, hey, look, because these are kind of subjective outputs, this is something that we do to both safeguard ourselves and to make sure that you are protected and that we have a level of standard, a bar to work towards in the quality of outputs that this system generates. So having this cosine similarity, pitch it as a benefit for you and them, which it is, and say, hey, look, this is the agreed one. We're going to be aiming for 0.9. Anything more than that might be overfitting, because you can make the system too good at giving certain answers. You want to keep it at around that 0.9 to 0.95 range. And that's what we'll put in our contract. And that is the way that we can stop this. If you've ever done these kind of projects before, where it's custom builds, you'll know that it can just kind of go on and on and on. And it's like revision hell. We call it review hell. And it just goes on and on and on. And it's so painful when you have a chatbot system that you've created and then you send it off to them and they send back like a 30, 40 minute loom, and you just, especially when it's a low ticket client as well. If you've been paid $3,000 or $4,000 and you're sitting there on your Saturday afternoon going through this guy's revision notes and then having to go back and fix the system up, and man, it is not pretty, and it's not the kind of lifestyle that I want for my business. And so we try to avoid as much of this crap as possible by saying, no, we have the cosine similarity. This thing is performing as expected. We're done. Send me the money. Send me the money. So yeah, hope I got all that across. But the exploration milestone has been a complete game changer for us. And if you want to incorporate something similar into your business, while you may not do the exact same thing as an AI agency owner, what you do need to think about is this line. And how do I spend less time talking to tire kickers who are going to waste my time? And how can I push quickly to start filtering out? Because you guys may do some inbound lead generation, you may do a LinkedIn, whatever, and you may be having conversations, but you'll pretty quickly realize that a lot of these are just conversations. And you need to start finding the guys with money to spend. These are the guys you want to be talking to. And the longer you give them, like there's billions of people on the earth, and don't assume that all of them are like you and I and are rational and don't want to waste time. Some of them are deluded, some of them have mental issues, and they will happily sit on these calls and waste your time. And that's not going to help your business. You're going to end up spending so much time talking to people who are never going to be clients. While it may be good sales practice if you need that, but talking to a loony is maybe not the best kind of sales practice you should be after. But yeah, take this concept, whether you apply it bar for bar or whether you just take the kind of distill it down and say, hey, look, I need to put some kind of filter earlier on, whether it's early on in when I was doing calls for my consulting calls on my channel, I would have a $300 or $500 consulting call, and those are the people that would then take on as dev clients. So if they came through my consulting calls, they'd already kind of pre-qualified or pre-selected themselves saying, hey, look, I'm willing to spend $500 on this. So that was kind of our earlier exploration milestone, but we started getting leads directly through our website, not just through my channel and through the consulting call link. So yeah, take it, apply it, and this is particularly good for general agencies like myself who are doing custom solutions every time. If you are a niche agency and you have the same thing to sell every single time, maybe a little bit different, but I think this is handy to have in your back pocket either way, and it will help you get past $10,000 a month, which was a major issue that we had, and the rest is history. So hope this has been helpful, guys. I certainly enjoyed making it, and yeah, exploration milestones and cosine similarity. I hope you got it all, and I will see you in the next one. Keep going. You can do it. This opportunity is not going anywhere, but you need to make moves on it now if you want to get there. So I'm rooting for you, and keep going.